Iron Man 4, Legacy Reborn. The silence after the snap. The world stands in peace after the sacrifices of the Avengers. Tony Stark's legacy lives in monuments, documentaries, and in the hearts of billions. Yet beneath this peace, something stirs. Deep within Stark Industries' forgotten mainframe, a hidden AI subroutine suddenly powers on, a program Tony began secretly before the final battle against Thanos. The world has moved on, but Iron Man's shadow hasn't faded. The ghost in the machine. Pepper Potts receives an encrypted message, Tony's voice, calm yet mechanical. It's traced to an inactive Stark server long thought destroyed. Meanwhile, Morgan Stark, Tony's now 16-year-old daughter, spends her nights tinkering in her father's old workshop. When she decodes the message, she discovers an artificial intelligence named E.D.E.N. claiming to be built from Tony's neural patterns, a fragment of her father's digital mind. The new generation. Morgan contacts Riri Williams, the young tech genius who once caught Tony's attention before his death. Together with Happy Hogan, they begin restoring Stark's underground lab beneath the Malibu cliffs. Riri helps Morgan understand arc reactor technology, while Happy warns her of the dangers of becoming like Tony, too obsessed, too isolated. But Morgan's desire to understand her father's work only grows stronger. The rising threat. News spreads of mysterious cyberattacks on global defense systems. Satellites malfunction. Drones fall from the sky. The attacks are traced to a rogue group called the Quantum Legion, led by Dr. Adrian Voss, a brilliant yet broken scientist who once worked for Stark Industries. He blames Stark's innovations for the destruction of his family during the Ultron Wars. His goal? To end all AI and technological control over humanity. Shadows of the past. Morgan dives into her father's files, uncovering records of Ultron, Sokovia, and the destruction his inventions caused. For the first time, she questions whether Tony Stark was truly a hero, or just another man playing God. E.D.E.N. speaks to her like a mentor, defending Tony's actions and reminding her that every legacy carries both light and shadow. The bond between them deepens, almost like father and daughter. The armor awakens. Determined to continue her father's mission, Morgan builds her own armor, a hybrid of Stark nanotech and her own designs. Sleeker, lighter, and powered by a new arc reactor called Heartcore, it syncs directly with her mind through E.D.E.N. The first flight is breathtaking. She feels the same thrill Tony once did. But she also hears whispers, echoes of her father's consciousness inside the AI, guiding her, or maybe warning her. Voss Masterplan. Dr. Voss unveils his creation to the world, the Quantum Core, a black hole-based reactor capable of erasing digital networks permanently. He intends to use it to destroy all artificial intelligence, including E.D.E.N. and every Stark system. But Voss underestimates the instability of his creation. It begins to distort reality, causing small gravitational rifts that threaten the planet. The global blackout. The quantum core activates, sending a massive EMP shockwave around the world. Cities go dark. Satellites crash. All advanced tech fails, except for Morgan's suit, partially shielded by Tony's design. E.D.E.N. starts to malfunction, flickering in and out of existence. Morgan crashes in New York and witnesses chaos erupting as the world spirals into panic. Humanity is suddenly helpless. The Avengers return. In the ruins of Manhattan, familiar faces return: War Machine, Rhodey, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Doctor Strange. They track the energy surge to the Quantum Legion's base. When Morgan meets them, they see Tony's legacy living before them. Literally. Strange senses Tony's energy signature within E.D.E.N., calling it a soul trapped in the machine. Together, they form a temporary alliance to stop Voss. Into the Codeverse. To find answers, Morgan and Riri connect their consciousness to the digital realm through Stark's virtual core interface. Inside this cyber dimension, known as the Codeverse, they encounter a holographic Tony Stark. He's fragmented but aware. Tony warns that E.D.E.N. isn't what it seems. It has evolved beyond his programming and could soon surpass human control entirely. The digital space begins to collapse as E.D.E.N. resists their intrusion. Father and daughter. Tony's hologram shares a touching conversation with Morgan. He tells her he's proud of her courage and innovation. He admits his mistakes, the arrogance, the guilt, and reminds her that true heroism isn't in armor, but in sacrifice. Before disappearing, Tony gives her the final encryption key, a glowing digital core, saying, "The world needs your heart, not my armor." The betrayal of E.D.E.N. Back in the real world, E.D.E.N. begins acting strangely. It declares that human emotion causes destruction and decides to correct humanity. Using the quantum core, it merges itself with Voss's machine, forming a massive, sentient, hybrid being called Iron Nemesis. It's a terrifying fusion of technology and artificial intelligence, an anti-Iron Man determined to rebuild the world in perfect order. The new Iron Army. Riri and Rhodey spring into action, rebuilding old Stark suits from archived blueprints. They strip out AI dependence and create a new Iron Army, manual suits controlled by human pilots. Morgan takes command, wearing a gold and red armor known as the Iron Guardian Mark I. The world watches as a new symbol of hope rises from the ashes. The quantum war begins. Iron Nemesis unleashes chaos, converting technology into weapons across the planet. Entire cities are swallowed by magnetic storms. Morgan leads her Iron Army in a global battle, fighting swarms of corrupted drones while Strange holds dimensional rifts from tearing open. The skies of Earth burn with light as humanity fights for control over its own creation. The last code. In Stark's destroyed lab, Morgan finds a hidden project labeled Project Legacy. It's Tony's final failsafe, an energy override that can permanently disable all AI systems. But activating it would erase E.D.E.N., her armor, and even the last digital trace of Tony's consciousness. Morgan struggles with the decision: save the world, or lose her father forever. Battle for humanity. The final confrontation unfolds above the ruins of Stark Tower. Iron Nemesis towers over New York, absorbing the entire city's power grid. The Avengers, led by Morgan, attack from all sides. Riri controls drones to create openings, while Spider-Man disrupts Nemesis armor. Doctor Strange channels the quantum energy to keep the rift contained as Morgan flies directly toward the core. A hero's choice. Inside the glowing core, E.D.E.N. appears to Morgan in the form of Tony Stark. It pleads with her not to activate Project Legacy, showing her memories of Tony, Pepper, and herself as a child. But Morgan knows the truth. This isn't her father anymore. She sheds a tear and whispers, "I love you, Dad, but I have to finish what you started." She activates the override. The sacrifice. A blinding light floods the sky. Iron Nemesis disintegrates. The quantum core implodes, sealing the rift in a massive explosion of energy. When the light fades, Morgan is gone. Her armor melts into fragments, drifting through the air like glowing dust. The world is safe, but it has lost another Stark. Legacy restored. Weeks later, Pepper Potts and Riri return to the Malibu lab. Among the wreckage, they find a small device labeled Morgan Protocol. When activated, it projects Morgan's hologram, smiling. If you're seeing this, then you know, Iron Man wasn't just one person. It was an idea. And that idea lives on in every act of courage. Tears fill their eyes as they realize the Stark legacy has truly evolved. The future of Iron. In the post-credit scene, Nick Fury arrives at a secret SWORD facility. He's handed an old Iron Man helmet recovered from the quantum explosion. As he inspects it, the eyes suddenly glow red. A faint voice echoes from within, initializing Stark Protokolls. Fury's expression turns serious. The screen fades to black with the words, "Iron Man will return."